You don't really want to get too close.
It will go from being a log, yes, come out the other end as fine white copy paper. It's also known as the tulip tree. You don't know that. Did you bring a raincoat? They are doing wonderful things with waste. And it is a town with a story to tell.
This may well be the log of the future.
Hello everyone and welcome to the fascinating look into forestry that is Going Bush.
Yes indeed, it's a show about Australia's forests and the people who work in them and the products that they create.
Here is a little look at what's coming up in today's show.
Why one of Australia's biggest advertising and media mogul loves Tassie's special species timber.
Makes me feel a bit young, having a table hold of myself.
Plus a bold plan to use waste to generate power and keeping it in the family. 3 generations of milling success. All right, straight into it, and we're on the hunt for one of Australia's most iconic timber species, and our hunt starts here in Strawn on Tassie's west coast. It's a tourist town. It's also the gateway to the southwest wilderness, where we'll be heading, I believe, by jet boat.
This is a unique story about one of the most sought-after timbers in Australia, Huon pine. Only growing in tiny pockets of Tasmania's southwest wilderness, Huon pine can still be seen and, as we're about to discover, still harvested from an area known as Teepookana Plateau, an area which was logged years ago by the pioneers of the west coast.
Teepookana Plateau is very unique, and you won't find anything like the Teepookana Plateau anywhere else in the world, and definitely not in Tasmania either. It's one of the last places that we can conventionally harvest Huon pine, and Huon pine is one of the special species that's been identified in our special species strategy that is one of the main products for sawmillers, craft woodworkers and the like.
On top of the plateau, a lookout provides views of some of the world's oldest trees still growing strong. Below the lookout is a small parcel of bush which is labelled as a demonstration forest. It features several big Huons, some stumps which show evidence of harvest in the olden days, and even some baby pines. Now, the thing about the demonstration forest here is that there is demonstration of regeneration in your Huon pine. It might take a while, but Paul, you planted these back in 1997. They look like they're going okay.
Sure are, Andrew, yes. All we do is come up, take a cutting from the native plants at Teepookana.
Yep.
Just grab one, take a cutting off, send it to the first nursery, and they shoot them for us and send them back to us.
They're a pretty hardy plant. They're not hard to grow.
No, pretty easy. You get the right conditions.
These look like they're going all right. These one's 14 years old. There are a few just a little bit older than that in this area. And when we say older, Paul, we mean older. Tell us about this one here.
Well, Andrew, this one's about 2,000 years old, give or take 1 or 2 years.
2,000 years old. It is amazing to think that this one, which is still growing,
Yes, sure is.
started its life 2,000 years ago. A lot has gone on in 2,000 years.
Just over the hill, and this is how the harvesting of Huon pine takes place today. The harvest crew is small, just 2 people who carefully search the scrub for Huon left behind by the piners of years ago, and literally pick it up off the ground.
If you can find where the old guys have been, that's where you'll find your good timbers and everything. Because back in those days, they never worried about the bird's eye Huon pine. All they was wanting was the good, straight Huon pine log out of the tree and everything. And this is what some of the stuff what they've left.
This salvage operation, along with the summertime river salvage when floating Huon pine logs are collected, provides the only Huon available to Tasmania's sawmillers and craftspeople.
It's a wonderful experience for me. I've been in the bush all my life, and it's a wonderful experience for me to see what the old guys did probably 100 years ago, and to see some of the places where they've been and to see some of the things that they've done. And it's really a wonderful environment to be working in.
Once the logs are collected, cut to size, labelled and loaded onto a truck, they must somehow get out of what is one of the most isolated bits of land in Australia.
Getting the logs out of Teepookana has always been an issue. In the olden days, the pioneers used to float them down the river. Today, they go out using the Tourism Wilderness Railway. The West Coast Wilderness Railway was originally built in 1896. It's since shut down but was rebuilt and reopened in 2000, now providing not only tourists a ride into the wilderness but also forestry workers.
It is a challenge to get into Teepookana. With the development of the West Coast Wilderness Railway, the only way that we can get access to Teepookana is either by air, by jet boat through the King River, or by the train. So that it is another operational challenge, but one that we have been working with and successfully been harvesting and bringing out material from the Teepookana Plateau for quite some time.
It's quite interesting for our passengers. They sometimes are lucky enough to see the timber come out and are quite inquisitive about it. So our guides on board and our stewards are able to inform them that no trees have fallen. It's all harvested off the floor of the forest. So it works really well for us. It just gives us another dimension and gives them another experience and also educates them too.
Once the logs are out of the forest, they end up here at Island Specialty Timbers in Strawn for anybody to purchase. The stockpile of salvaged Huon expected to last the craft and furniture industry decades.
Now stick around, because after the break our story heads from Strawn to the Big Smoke and one of the most stunning boardrooms in the country, belonging to a very well-known face.